Hi everyone! Today is a very exciting day because I'm going to be showing you the new book from Alan Robert in the Beauty of Horror series. It's called Ghouliana's Sanctuary for Monsters, and different to all the other books that have come before, this is a storybook. So Alan has written a whole story to give you some kind of background on Ghouliana and the other creatures that have appeared in his books. It's so much fun, and I know that there will be a lot of videos already on YouTube showing you a flip through, and there's some brilliant reviewers out there. I've decided today that I'm going to read the story from start to finish so that you can see the images as I'm reading the story, and it will give you more of an insight into what's going on in the pictures. I mean, usually I go through and I look, at each individual element of the page and I think, oh, what could this be representing and how cool is that? And, all that kind of stuff. But we've actually got all of the context in the story. So I think by reading the story and showing you every single page with all the images on, you'll be able to follow along with the story and see the gorgeous illustrations that go with them. So if you're looking for a quick flip through, this is not your video. You can of course speed it up. So YouTube has controls where you can speed it up by like 2 times or whatever it is, if you just want to see a quick flip through. Or like I said, I'm sure there's loads of other channels that have already done a flip through and review of this book. So without any further ado, I will begin to read the book, and there's also a giveaway coming up at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. So let's open up the book. We have got a dust jacket, which is completely removable and colourable as well. You've got a big scene on the dust jacket that also features within the book too. It's a signed copy, so I'm really excited about that. And then we have the usual intro pages. So you've got your publishing notes and things, and then you've got your book belongs to page. So I'm going to make sure that the book is lined up. I think that's about right. And all that's left for you to do is grab yourself a hot drink, turn down the lights and listen in for the story. You will see that I've coloured a few different elements from the book rather than colouring just the one illustration. So every now and again you will get a little bit of coloured imagery from me just to make the story even more real. So here goes. In the heart of the quaint New England town known as North Hope, where cobblestone streets whisper with rumours of the unusual and fantastical, Agatha's Odds and Ends stands as a beacon of eccentricity. The shop's weathered facade, sandwiched inconspicuously between forgotten buildings, offers a portal to a world of wicked wonders within. As dusk settles, the glow from the antique glass window shines like a lighthouse in the mist, drawing in those curious enough to venture beyond the ordinary. Once inside, visitors are quickly enveloped by a melody of curiosities that span the ages and continents. Ancient relics rub shoulders with taxidermied creatures frozen in lifelike poses. Ornate shelves crafted from dark-stained oak bear the weight of artifacts from distant lands and epochs long past. Collectors travel from far and wide for the strangest of things: a compass that once guided a lost ship through the Bermuda Triangle, a glass vial containing the glowing essence of a vanished star, or a haunted hairbow complete with the shrunken skull of an abducted traveller, to name a few. Each item is a testament to Agatha Blythe's discerning eye and insatiable spirit for inquiry. Her reputation for acquiring the rarest oddities is impeccable. Among her most cherished pieces sits a dusty samurai helmet gouged with scars from battles fought under foreign skies, and a preserved man-eating centipede that sparks wonder with its iridescent limbs. As patrons browse the displays, Agatha is always quick to share each one's captivating tale. Agatha herself is shrouded in mystery. In fact, it seems as if she's been running her boutique for generations without ever growing old. Her striking appearance, flawless skin, piercing blue eyes and scarlet bob have everyone fooled. Underneath the veil of a glamour magic illusion is actually a shriveled old 18th century witch. The shop is alive with secrets. Its corners are draped in shadows. Cobwebs dance with the flickering light of oil lamps suspended from wrought iron chains. A skull-shaped bell above the door chimes whenever a new customer arrives. They're instantly greeted by the unmistakable scent of ancient parchment mixed with the faint aroma of sandalwood incense. As the wind howls and twilight deepens outside, Agatha's odds and ends remains a haven for those who dare to dream beyond the mundane, a place where mysteries await discovery and the boundaries of possibility blur beneath the weight of ancient wonders. Underneath the creaking floorboards of Agatha's quaint reliquary lies a forbidden underworld never seen before by mortal eyes. Its entrance is concealed by a dusty old cabinet in the dimmest corner of the shop. It can only be opened by placing 2 fingers inside the hollow eyes of an oil painting depicting Marie Antoinette. Behind the wall, a complex mechanism made of rusted gears and skeletal remains clanks and thuds into motion. The cabinet shifts abruptly. It slides aside on a hidden track to reveal a secret industrial elevator. Agatha steps into the car. Its red plush walls surround her in familiar comfort. She knows the controls will, with a single touch, send the lift plunging into darkness. As the antique cabinet creaks back into position, it erases all evidence of her passage, leaving no hint of what's concealed within. The floor trembles beneath Agatha's feet as the elevator plummets down the shaft at a terrifying speed. The walls groan, straining as if to contain something far more sinister than machinery. Rusted girders, thick with decay, rattle violently. They sway like skeletal fingers clawing for freedom. The grinding gears shriek with a malicious rhythm, each turn dragging the car deeper into an unknowable abyss. But something far worse festers in the darkness. Grotesque cries slither from the shadows, and as the car plunges, flashes of light reveal contorted demon faces lining the walls. Their tortured wails rise in a chorus of despair, as if the force controlling this steel maze is ripping them apart. Upon arrival at the bottom level, the heavy gate of the elevator squeaks open, revealing Otto, Agatha's loyal zombie servant, standing at attention. His tattered tuxedo is stained with the blood of one of his victims. In one bony hand, he clutches a well-worn checklist. Its edges are frayed, and the parchment is smudged from countless uses. "Greetings, Otto," Agatha says as she reaches out to take the clipboard from him. He tilts his head slightly, acknowledging her with a soft grunt. "Let's see what's in store for us this evening, shall we?" she quips. Agatha and Otto step from the lift into the cavernous atrium. Up ahead lies a labyrinth of tunnels and massive enclosures where reality melts into myth and magic. A subterranean community inhabited by legendary creatures thought to exist only in folklore. Welcome to the Sanctuary for Monsters, lovingly referred to as the Creepatorium. The Creepatorium is a vast wonderland of strange and mythical beings. The hallways are lit with torch sconces that cast wavering shadows across the stone walls. Large columns are engraved with glyphs and runes, whose meanings have faded from oceans of time. The smell of damp earth lingers in the air, mixing with the subtle fragrance of herbs from arcane rituals centuries ago. As the two journey down the dim halls that sprawl beneath the shop, each new passageway gradually unfolds. When they come upon the first chamber, Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster, is found gliding peacefully through her grand aquarium in shimmers of spectral light. The crystal clear water, deeper than any terrestrial lake, holds mysteries of its own. Nearby, the Yeti sits on a block of ice within a chilled Arctic chamber. The industrial vents drone with a low, almost imperceptible vibration. The beast's breath crystallizes in the frigid air that whispers of eternal winter. His colossal form, half obscured by the dense mist, evokes awe and caution among those who venture into his domain. Frost patterns swirl across the snow like ghostly shapes, shifting and moving in the artificial wind. Agatha steps carefully into the frost-covered tundra. Otto lumbers his way behind her. The soles of his shoes crunch the snow softly underfoot. Agatha scans the room, inspecting the intricate array of machinery that regulates the temperature and air quality. She makes a notation on her checklist. As the two approach, the Yeti's massive form shifts suddenly and he lets out a low, guttural growl. Agatha mutters quietly, "Otto, step back and keep your distance." Otto's head jerks towards her and he shuffles backwards slowly. The Yeti's eyes track the zombie as he retreats, but it's clear that the creature's displeasure has not quite been relieved. His gaze shifts to Agatha now. She feels the weight of it as the monster judges her, calculating her intent. Agatha activates a small crystalline device on her wrist. It pulsates to life, casting a soft blue light that seems to momentarily calm the Yeti's volatile emotions. His growl softens to a low rumble, and for a moment there is silence between them. "I know you're unhappy here, but this is necessary," Agatha says, her voice steady and unwavering. "You agreed to this, Yeti. You were given a sanctuary, your own safe domain. But in exchange, you must abide by the terms of the creepatorium." The Yeti's large chest rises and falls with each laboured breath. He lowers his head slightly in grudging acceptance, or perhaps just an acknowledgement of the delicate power dynamics at play. "Otto," she commands without turning, "let's leave him be." Agatha and Otto continue their chamber inspections. Above them, the ceiling bustles with motion as an intricate system of pulleys, chains, and gears moves with uncanny precision. Zombies clad in tattered uniforms are bound to the relentless rhythm of the machines, their dead eyes fixed on the task at hand. Agatha barely acknowledges the massive spiders scuttling past them. Each one carries a heavy crate of supplies on its back, delivering items throughout the creepatorium. Vials of elixirs, enchanted herbs, and customized meals are transferred from one part of the sanctuary to another. Agatha and Otto peek inside the next lair. There, 3 emaciated childlike figures grin with unsettling toothless glee. Dressed in satin clown suits, they delight in their grim amusements. Their shrill cackles vibrate through the walls, a cacophony of morbid madness. The zombie triplets are at it again. They can't help but laugh hysterically while juggling bones of the dead. It's the kind of joy only the deranged truly know. The triplets are far too absorbed in their grotesque games to even notice Agatha and Otto. Agatha marks her checklist upon exiting and mumbles, "Alrighty then," as their squeals fade into the distance. In the creepatorium, the vampires stand as the apex of power and respect. Their distinct otherworldly presence commands attention in every corner of the sanctuary. With their sharp fangs, hypnotizing eyes, and sullen demeanor, they maintain an almost regal aura. The other residents all recognize the vampire's supremacy, as their abilities to control minds, manipulate shadows, and influence fate make them the natural rulers of this strange community. It's a delicate balance of fear and reverence, but the vampires remain unchallenged in their dominance. At the forefront of this vampire hierarchy is Silvius, a creature whose mere sight fills the others with dread. His skin is like marble, pale and smooth, and his gaze seems to peer through the souls of those he surveys. His centuries of leadership have been marked by sharp decisions and even sharper instincts. Silvius is quick to confront Agatha about a mysterious crate that has shown up at the edge of his domain. He complains the box moves in unnatural ways. Her eyes flicker with uncertainty as she stares down at the crate. Peculiar indeed. There's no label or markings. "I'm not entirely sure where this came from," Agatha admits, her voice uneasy. Silvius senses that this crate is not simply a mystery, it is a harbinger of something catastrophic if left unchecked. Silvius steps closer to the crate, his predatory nature on full display. Agatha watches from behind, feeling a twinge of fear as Silvius examines the crate with his unblinking stare. She knows very well that the vampires are not to be crossed, especially their leader, who has an unnerving ability to perceive things no one else can. Yet even she cannot deny the strange sensation that emanates from the crate. Without warning, the box shifts violently, making a sound that echoes through the chamber. Agatha flinches, but Silvius is unshaken. His voice, cold and commanding, cuts through the tension. "Whatever is inside this box, it does not belong here." Agatha nods solemnly, fully understanding the gravity of the situation. The crate is more than just an anomaly. It's a threat. Silvius's words hang heavy as they prepare for whatever comes next, knowing that once the box is opened, there may be no turning back. The box is not listed anywhere on the day's delivery manifest. Otto lumbers closer, his curiosity piqued, but a single glance from Agatha halts him in his tracks. "Not yet, Otto," she snaps, but the crate stirs and its wooden frame lets out a creak that takes them by surprise. Then, without warning, it defies all logic, lifting itself off the ground. It hovers briefly in midair, then flips and crashes back down with a deafening thud. The loud sound attracts creatures from adjacent chambers. In a matter of moments, a host of supernatural beings assembles behind the trio. The once contained tension has now spread to the rest of the onlookers. Silvius, ever the skeptic, takes a prudent step back, wary of the box's next move. But Agatha, ever resolute, steps forward fearlessly. Her fingers caress the weathered wood. The crate's scars hint at a journey long and arduous. Agatha's voice, low and contemplative, carries an air of inevitability. It has chosen to come here. Her tone is one of reluctant acceptance. With a nod, she signals to the werewolves to step forward. No words are necessary. They know exactly what to do. The overgrown beasts prepare to pry open the box with their unmatched strength. The crowd holds its breath in anticipation, awaiting whatever lies inside. Before the werewolves even get a chance to sink their claws into the wood, the crate shudders. The crowd's whispers turn into anxious murmurs. The lid rises, inch by creaking inch, groaning under the immense pressure. Then, with a sudden resounding crack, it snaps open. The noise grips the sanctuary. All eyes lock on the crate. From within, a small, dirt-streaked hand emerges. Delicate, pale, and unmistakably undead. Slowly the figure reveals itself. She is slight in nature. Tangled, wiry hair spills over her shoulders, framing her stitched face with wide, pupilless eyes, eyes that absorb everything but reveal nothing in return. A name presses itself into Agatha's mind as if whispered by an unseen force. Ghouliana. Agatha's heart pounds inside her chest. This is not what she was expecting. Her eyes catch a quick glimpse of the inside walls of the box. The wood seems to be decorated with the ghoul girl's frantic drawings. The images depict what looks like the crematorium's winding chambers, strangely consumed by a devastating flood. The scene shows torrents of water surging throughout its tunnels, dragging helpless, submerged monsters in its wake. She has arrived. The sanctuary falls still. The abrupt hush feels almost unnatural. Even the witches, known for their endless gossip, find themselves at a loss for words. No one dares to speak. It's a moment of strange tension. The arrival of this new resident has disturbed something deeper within the sanctuary's ancient bones. Silvius cannot hide his disdain. The thought of housing this uninvited guest gnaws at him, and he's concerned about their collective future. He starts shouting expletives in his native Transylvanian tongue and storms off in a huff. His tantrum briefly unsettles the room. Behind the edges of the crowd, something stirs. A low clattering rises from the shadows as a small skeletal form steps into the light. It's an undead canine. The little beast's glowing red eyes lock on Ghouliana, and it makes a beeline toward her through the rows of creatures. Although the two have never met before, there's a tenderness and loyalty in the way it approaches her, as if Ghouliana's presence has revived its purpose. The ghoul girl watches the zombie dog come forward. She tilts her head with a flicker of recognition. Ghouliana's pale hand extends toward it without fear. The corpse dog, eager for affection, attempts to lick her hand with its coarse tongue. Ghouliana's chapped lips curl into a smile that reveals her razor-sharp teeth in full view. Despite her predatory appearance, there's a quiet gentleness to her that contradicts her hideous form. She gently pets the dog, her fingertips grazing its jagged bones. Agatha observes the interaction with a knowing smile and nods to herself. Her eyes twinkle with something between amusement and sympathy. "Looks like you found a friend already, little one," she remarks, her voice gentle and laced with warmth. His name's Poppet. Agatha then abruptly changes her tone and demeanour. With a firm hand, she begins to shoo away the crowd. She shouts sternly, "The party's over, folks. Move along now." Without question, the creatures quickly disperse. Otto sees the last of the monsters retreat into the sanctuary's dark corridors. Agatha turns back her attention to the new visitor. Her expression relaxes a bit as she approaches Ghouliana. There is something unsettling about the girl that makes Agatha very suspicious, but she forces a smile. "Now, where did you come from, miss?" Agatha inquires. Ghouliana's wide, dead eyes steer towards Agatha's, and for a long pause the two of them stare at each other in a silent standoff. Ghouliana doesn't speak. Her mouth remains motionless with a mischievous, sharp-toothed grin. Her thoughts, however, seep into Agatha's mind like a quiet voice through the cracks of her consciousness. Her gravelly whispers are quiet but clear, echoing in the witch's mind. "I come from the Belai mansion, but I was sent away." Upon hearing the name of that wretched place, Agatha can't even hide her dismay. The Belai mansion, notorious for its dungeons and cruelty, stirs up several old unpleasant memories for her. A place steeped in dark rumours and even darker deeds. Agatha's brow furrows and her intense stare hardens. She knows the tales firsthand, of course. After all, the psychotic master of the castle, Dr. Victor Belai, is her estranged uncle, known for his twisted experiments. But here, in the sanctuary that Agatha has created, Ghouliana will be safe. "This is your new home, my dear," Agatha reassures her. "You have nothing to fear any longer." Nearby, Otto retrieves a piece from the broken crate off the floor. He notices a ragged drawing scrawled on its surface. The lines are shaky and uneven, but there's an undeniable artistry to them. He picks it up and examines it with curiosity. His fingers brush over the splintered edges. It depicts a vampire drowning. Agatha spots a small, gnarled pencil on the ground. It's crusted and weathered, but what makes it truly grotesque is the shrunken skull affixed to it, lashed in place with twine spun from human hair. It feels like a relic from another world, and in all of Agatha's travels, she's never seen anything quite like it. "This must be yours, I presume," Agatha says, holding it out to Ghouliana. Ghouliana takes it, her grimy fingers curl possessively around the strange instrument. A ghost of a smile flickers across her face. "You're quite the Picasso, I see," Agatha muses. Ghouliana just shrugs shyly. "Well then," Agatha continues, her tone shifting to a practical manner, "we'll be sure to set up your new space with plenty of art supplies." Agatha gestures for Ghouliana to follow her and turns down a winding corridor, leading them deeper into the heart of the sanctuary. Otto trails slowly behind, and Poppet follows at Ghouliana's heels, his bony tail wagging with ghastly joy. They arrive at a carefully selected chamber, a place where Agatha has trained her protégés in the past. The room seems to match Ghouliana's dark yet refined aesthetic perfectly. Its decor is a blend of gothic elegance and modern chic, and Ghouliana's satisfaction is unmistakable. Her new pet, Poppet, wastes no time hopping up onto the plush mattress and settling in. Clearly, this is a significant improvement from the dungeon she once called home at Castle Belai. Before departing, Agatha urges Ghouliana to share more about her time at the Belai mansion. "We need to understand why Dr. Belai sent you here," she says pointedly. "Uninvited guests aren't exactly common at the Creepatorium." Ghouliana pauses, selecting her words wisely, then responds through telepathy. "The doctor's evils were unforgivable. The harm he caused cannot be overlooked. I made that clear to him, and now I find myself here." Growing increasingly frustrated by Ghouliana's cryptic answers and driven by a burning need to uncover the truth about her uncle's misdeeds, Agatha decides it's time to take matters into her own hands. Accompanied by Otto, she makes her way through the halls of the Creepatorium to Desmond's cavernous lair. High above, nestled among the stalactites, the giant vampire bat dangles lazily from the rafters, his leathery wings wrapped tightly around his body like a cloak. His crimson eyes gleam faintly in the shadows as he watches Agatha and Otto approach. "I need a special favour, Dee," Agatha calls up to him. I need you to fly to Castle Belai and find out what's really behind Victor's decision to send this ghoul to us." Desmond unfurls his wings slightly, his claws still gripping the wooden beam. With a dry and amused voice, he retorts, "Oh, I'd love to help, really I would, but our dear friend Silvius has already forbidden me from getting involved in your little family drama." Agatha's irritation flashes across her face. "Leave Silvius to me," she replies coolly. Taking a deep breath, she softens her tone just enough to convey urgency without sounding desperate. "Please, Dee. Something feels off about all of this. We need to know what's really going on here before it's too late." Desmond tilts his head, considering her words. After a long pause, he lets out an exaggerated sigh. "If you insist, Mrs. A," he finally concedes, pushing off from the beam with his massive wings. "But you owe me one, again." Desmond soars through the night skies on his long journey to the Carpathian Mountains in Romania. As he rises higher, chasing the stars, dawn threatens to break on the horizon. He veers southward over the Sea of Marmara, where the water shimmers like liquid silver. Overhead, the heavens are vast and dark as Desmond presses onward. Tirelessly pushing through the bitter winds, he nears his destination. As he scans the neighbouring village below, the town appears to be untouched, intact and undisturbed. Yet Castle Belai calls to him from the distance. It's been left in ruins. Desmond knows something awful awaits him there, but he has come too far to retreat. Desmond descends through the thick, smoke-filled air with grace. His gigantic wings slice through the haze. The once grand mansion, with its towering spires and ancient walls, now lies smouldering. There's no sign of the infamous scientist, Dr. Victor Belai. However, Belai's horrific creations stagger aimlessly throughout the wreckage. These grotesque beings, stitched together from various creatures, move without direction. Their lifeless eyes reflect confusion and disarray. They stumble over the debris and fall into the embers. Without their master, they're just mindless husks, lost in a world that no longer needs them. There are no clues as to what might have caused this catastrophe. Desmond soon realises that whatever force has brought Castle Belai to its knees could still be at large. With a final glance at the devastation, the bat ascends back into the heavens, leaving behind the desolate remains of the once feared mansion. He must begin his long journey home to warn Agatha about this unexpected revelation. Forced to divert from his original route in order to arrive back in North Hope before dawn, Desmond battles a furious storm over the Black Sea. The wind howls, and the waves rise and crash beneath him. Despite the chaos consuming his path, Desmond focuses on the horizon, determined to push through. Exhausted and weak, he finally returns to the crematorium. Agatha's expression shifts from cautious hope to deepening dread as she absorbs the grim details of Castle Belai's destruction. Why has Ghouliana arrived so suddenly, unannounced, and at such a perilous time? The timing feels anything but coincidental. And what of her missing uncle? His absence seems ominous, certainly troubling. As her mind races, piecing together fragments of this puzzle, a chilling possibility begins to take shape. Is there more to this disaster than meets the eye? The grim tidings raise more questions than answers. Though uncertainty clouds her way, Agatha wastes no time in her persistence to uncover the truth. Without delay, she approaches the head witches of the crematorium, Sarah, Anne, and Mary, who heed her call for assistance. They offer to perform the sacred ritual of scrying. Perhaps they may coax elusive visions of the past into the present. As the three witches gather round the cauldron, Agatha watches intently. She knows very well that scrying is not without risk, for what is revealed may not always be what one expects or desires. Yet, despite the weight of the unknown, she steels herself. This is her only path forward. With practiced hands and solemn purpose, the witches gather the essential components. Sarah places her hands over the ingredients. A black candle, its flickering flame promises to illuminate paths long forgotten. A silver thread, symbolising the tenuous connection between present and past, binding moments in time. Mandrake root, revered for its potent link to ancient knowledge. Crushed animal bone, representing the enduring essence of life and time itself. Anne tosses each item into the steaming pot as Mary proclaims the chant. Shadows deep and silent tread, hear my call by silver thread. Blackened flame and bone now bind, mandrake root, the path unlined. By whispered night and candles gleam, unveil the truth within the dream. Through veils of past and future's door, reveal the hidden, show me more. As the witches stir, the bubbling contents of the black cauldron rise. Within the shifting vapour, shadowy images begin to take shape. They flicker like scenes from a spectral film. Agatha watches transfixed as ghostly visions from the past play out before her eyes. In silent horror, she witnesses Dr. Victor Belai inflicting cruel torment upon Ghouliana, only to see a dark and twisted justice unfold, Ghouliana's revenge. A chilling realisation washes over Agatha. Ghouliana wields a terrifying supernatural ability. With this remarkable gift, it seems that she can bring her illustrations to life. Whatever she can draw, she can manifest, and she used this power to free herself from Dr. Belai's grasp. Agatha witnesses how the inferno that consumed Castle Belai was conjured into existence by the undead girl's hand. As this revelation sinks in, Agatha's mind races back to the unsettling image she glimpsed inside the crate when Ghouliana first arrived. A sketched prophecy that foretold a catastrophic flood. Now, with the knowledge of Ghouliana's boundless capability, Agatha fears that this new illustration may soon become more than just a haunting piece of art. It may just bring absolute doom to her beloved sanctuary. In a frantic bid to save her imperiled community, Agatha bursts from the witch's chamber at an alarming pace. Without hesitation, she scrambles onto the back of one of the giant spiders working in the corridor. The spider scurries quickly. Clinging tightly to its bristled back, Agatha leans forward and barks, "Sound the alarms! Ring the bells!" Her cries are mixed with dread and determination. "Everyone must evacuate at once!" Above her, perched high on the platforms at the top of the columns, the worker zombies heed her warnings and stop their monotonous toils. They pick up large mallets to slam against brass gongs in unison. The call to action spreads fast, drawing creatures of all kinds into the hallways. They whisper anxiously as they shuffle forward. Agatha, astride her spider, pushes through the crowd. As she nears the central atrium, a forbidding sense of finality settles over her. Just then, a sharp, high-pitched sound rings out. Agatha's eyes snap to the massive water tank dominating one side of the hall. There, Nessie, the fabled Loch Ness monster, coils uneasily beneath the churning surface. A slender, glistening crack splinters across the thick glass, spiderwebbing outward in a pattern of impending disaster. Panic ripples through the gathered creatures, but Agatha remains focused. Gritting her sharp teeth, she shouts once more, "Where is Ghouliana?" Her tone is fierce, edged with desperation. "Only she can undo this curse before it's too late." Her voice cuts through the mounting chaos. The crowd scrambles in confusion. They turn their heads in search of the ghoul girl, but there's no sign of her. Agatha knows time is running out, and every second lost brings the creepatorium closer to catastrophe. Her mind races, searching for a solution, even as the first few droplets of water spout out of the widening crack. Without hesitation, the Yeti scales the stone pillar with fluid, primal agility. He reaches the crack in the glass and attempts to prevent it from spreading by applying pressure. Around him, other residents follow his lead and defy Agatha's urgent orders to retreat. Their courage is on full display. As they rush toward the tank, they stand united in their determination to avert disaster. Amid the growing commotion, Otto pushes through the mob of monsters. In his grasp, Ghouliana dangles by the collar of her dress, her feet barely grazing the ground. Poppet's sharp jaws latch onto Otto's slacks as he tries to defend his new master. The crowd parts around them with a collective gasp. Whispers erupt like wildfire as every eye fixes on the young ghoul. Agatha springs down from the massive spider and rushes to confront Ghouliana. "What have you done?" Agatha demands. "Tell me how to reverse this." Ghouliana lies frozen. Her shock mirrors Agatha's intensity. Ghoulia seems unsure of how her power works. After all, she's still just a young ghoul trying to harness it. Her mind races back to when she was still at the Belai mansion, where her fear of exile by Dr. Belai had driven her to sketch the flood in the first place. Back then, she figured that if she sabotaged the crematorium, it would ensure that Dr. Belai would never banish her there. But now, as she stands in this wonderful community, the irony cuts deep. What she once despised has become a haven she desperately wishes to protect. Yet the wheels of her premonition have already begun turning. Her merciless manifestation is unstoppable. The monsters grow restless around her. Their voices swell with anger and fear. This sanctuary, a place they've all come to love and cherish, hangs in the balance. The chaotic energy builds in the group with every passing moment. Meanwhile, the crack in the tank inches wider and wider, its sharp edges signalling the inevitable calamity to come. Abruptly, another crack splinters the aquarium with an ear-splitting sound. This time, it's bigger, sharper, and more menacing than before. The immense fissure grows expeditiously across the tank. The compromised surface trembles and strains under the weight, as if the sea inside aches to break free. Agatha's eyes instantly shift toward it, as disaster is imminent. "Oh, Great Spirit," she whispers, "protect us and grant us your strength, now more than ever." The glass finally buckles and gives way with an unforgettable thunder. The water erupts from the tank in a cataclysmic wave, a liquid leviathan that devours the atrium in seconds. The flood engulfs the sanctuary and drowns out the screams from the crowd. The sheer force drags stunned residents into its undertow. Chaos reigns, and the crematorium becomes an aquatic abyss. The surge thrashes, tossing the monstrous inhabitants around like helpless ragdolls. What was once a tranquil and sombre refuge is now complete pandemonium. Vampires and werewolves claw frantically for air above the rushing waves, while zombies flail with a slow-motion sluggishness, their lifeless forms sink below the current. Amid the madness, the sanctuary's larger denizens, the spiders, cling to higher ground. Their elongated limbs latch onto the walls as their multiple eyes scan the turmoil below. Some arachnids teeter precariously. The unrelenting force of the flood threatens even their stability. Crates of supplies, once safely secured, now bob violently on undulating waters. Each swell sends them careening unpredictably, smashing into walls or colliding with anything in their trajectory. They threaten to maim, crush or drown any creature unlucky enough to cross their path. The floodwaters continue to rage as the Yeti yanks Agatha and Ghouliana from the rising tides. Exhausted and battered, Otto and Poppet also find their way to safety. Agatha, recovering from a blow to the head, is on the verge of collapsing. With her last ounce of strength, she pulls Ghouliana close. Her voice is a mere whisper, but the gravity in her words is undeniable. "Use your gift, little one, your immense power. Use it to lift up, not to destroy," she murmurs. "Show us your true character, Ghouliana." Her message is a final plea, a desperate attempt to guide the girl, her protégée, her burden, onto a path of redemption before she loses consciousness. As Agatha's body succumbs to her wound, she faints on the cold stone. Broken and dishevelled, her lifeless hand rests on Ghouliana's lap. Otto lets out a low groan as his master seems to slip into a coma. Poppet, ever faithful, pads softly to Agatha's side and gently licks her. Ghouliana sits there in shock at the disastrous turn of events that has transpired. Ghouliana's guilt multiplies as she surveys the aftermath. The flood has torn through the sanctuary, laying waste to her new home. Broken stone, shattered glass, and the remnants of a once thriving community litter the waters. The crematorium is no more. Her fingers tremble as she brushes through her damp hair, but it's not the cold that's caused her hands to shake. It's the impact of Agatha's last words. The responsibility of carrying on Agatha's legacy now rests upon her. The storm within her chest rages as fiercely as the one that ravaged the crematorium. The violent destruction she's caused finally sinks in as she looks down upon the ruins. She begins to understand the full measure of her own dangerous, unyielding force. For the first time, she considers Agatha's plea not as a command, but as a lifeline. The wreckage of the crematorium is a mirror, reflecting the shattered parts of her own soul. Agatha, now lying in a comatose state, is not just the loss of a mentor, but the final lesson that Ghouliana may never fully comprehend, unless, perhaps, she chooses to heed it. The question lingers. Will she continue to destroy as she's always known, or will she use her powers for good as Agatha has asked of her? The answer lies within the next choice she makes. Ghouliana, committed to making things right, directs Otto to fetch her a piece of stone debris. Otto obeys without hesitation and drags a flat fragment from the wreckage for her. She acknowledges his effort with a nod of gratitude, and from the sash at her waist, she retrieves her trusted skull pencil. Ghouliana sketches on the slab with fevered intensity. Poppet's bony head tilts curiously as he watches her draw. Ghouliana pours herself into her newest creation while monsters climb out of the surge. The spiders work tirelessly, plucking survivors from the waves, and witches use their brooms to fish their friends out of the water. Some creatures find solace on top of the floating wooden crates while they wait anxiously to be rescued. Deeper within the flooded corridors, Nessie's massive frame is carried by the swells, and she's enjoying every minute of it. For the first time, she's able to explore the sanctuary from the other side of the glass. A silver lining in the murky tide of despair. Once the monsters find relief on the dry stone, they begin to stagger over to Ghouliana, eagerly vying to steal a glimpse of what she's summoning next. At last, Ghouliana sets down her pencil. A sparkling essence begins to trace the contours of her design. She rises to her feet to inspect her work, searching for any overlooked details. One skeptical witch questions, "Are you sure you know what you're doing, child? This manifestation seems perilous to say the least." Ghouliana, undeterred, ignores the witch. There's no time for debates, no space for doubt. The waters are rising and threaten to engulf the entire sanctuary. Behind her, Otto drags Agatha's lifeless body further from the edge. The moment demands courage, and whatever Ghouliana has drawn, whatever she's conjuring, just may be their only hope. At that moment, a tremor grows from the depths. The monsters instinctively brace themselves for what's to come. The rumble crescendos into a thunderous roar that shakes the foundation. The ancient stone begins to give way under the strain. Fragments break free from the ceiling and walls, throwing shards of rock and rubble down into the floodwaters below. The creatures scatter, darting for cover wherever they can as the ground quakes beneath them. Vibrations ripple through the air, each pulse more intense than the last. The monsters anticipate the arrival of something monumental, and all eyes turn toward the heart of the disturbance. One singular question trembles on their lips. What on earth has Ghouliana done this time? Then the walls begin to shift as if awakening from a deep slumber. From the jagged cracks in the vaulted ceiling above, a colossal, monstrous eyeball emerges. It peers down at the tiny monsters below with an intimidating stare. As it leers down, the creepatorium itself begins to transform. The mighty columns, etched with symbols of the past, tear free from their foundations. Their cracked surfaces elongate and distort until they resemble massive carved stone fingers. The once impenetrable walls groan and twist, reshaping into a hulking torso. Beneath the waves, the giant blocks lining the floor buckle and splinter. The rocks grind and fuse together to form powerful tree trunk-like legs. The sanctuary vibrates vigorously from the thunderous cracking of masonry. The crowd of creatures cannot believe their eyes. Their jaws open wide with awe and terror. They are completely dominated by this towering cyclops that rises before them. A behemoth of living stone, born of the very structure they once inhabited. Has this titan been hiding within the sanctuary's walls the entire time? Or is this a conjured creation from Ghouliana's imagination? Did she really summon this being into our world through her dark arts? The truth barely matters now, as the gigantic one-eyed colossus breaks free from its resting place. Its immense power radiates with each 10-ton step. Piercing through the sound of thunder, the panicked screams of vampires can be heard. "He'll crush us!" they wail as the beast gazes down upon them. Fear grips each one of them as they brace for the unthinkable while the ground trembles beneath them. Suddenly, something unexpected happens. The Cyclops, towering and fearsome, proves to be a friend as it kneels to greet Ghouliana. With a gentle and rumbling gesture, its massive stone arm descends to the group. It forms a bridge long enough to bring them all to safety. Ghouliana quickly senses the outstretched hand is a helping one and wastes no time climbing aboard. Otto does his best to lift Agatha and follows suit. One by one, everyone clambers behind as the sense of urgency heightens and the structure begins to crumble around them. With the surviving monsters in tow, the Cyclops bursts upward through the wreckage. The juggernaut of stone eclipses the moonlit sky as it emerges onto the streets of North Hope. For many in the group clinging to its gigantic form, the crisp night air is a long-lost sensation, and for the first time in decades, they taste the intoxicating thrill of freedom. Ghouliana and the others hold on tight to the mountainous Cyclops. Their claws dig into its coarse surface as if their lives depended on it, because they do. The giant moves with an unpredictable rhythm. Beneath its shadow, rooftop shingles rattle like dry leaves in a storm. Each lumbering step shakes the quaint town to its core, waking the sleeping residents from their dreams. Lights flicker on, casting beams of curiosity onto the streets as wary eyes peer out. The caravan of misfits and monsters marches forward, while Desmond the vampire soars overhead. Following the Cyclops, more survivors are carried by an army of king-size spiders. Nessie is the only one left behind, but she's already adapted quickly to her new watery haven. The rest, thankful to have escaped from the destruction of the crematorium, press on with renewed determination. Though homeless, the group brims with gratitude for their rescue. United in their search for a new sanctuary, they head west. As they cross the city's crumbling border sign, they notice it now reads, "No hope." Ironic, for hope is what they seek to find. The parade of creatures must fight through their exhaustion and quicken their pace. Several hours have passed, and if they don't find shelter soon, the vampires will be obliterated by the rising sun. Luckily, through the mist, Ghouliana spots a small island in the centre of the harbour. She signals to the Cyclops, who abruptly changes direction for a closer look. As they draw near, they can see that the bridge that connects the mainland to the island is impassable, so the Cyclops carefully guides them across the choppy channel with its enormous hands. As they set foot on the shore, the witches immediately begin to sense a nefarious energy lingering. After a short struggle through some overgrown foliage, they approach what looks like an abandoned psychiatric hospital. Within each window of the decaying structure, the witches are able to see visions flash before them of the cruelty that occurred there. Despite the ghosts from the past, the place seems like an absolutely perfect refuge for the group. It's isolated from prying eyes, away from humans, and large enough to accommodate their entire community. Dawn arrives, and the sun's rays begin to pierce through the trees. The vampires sprint inside in a panic. They hiss as slivers of daylight shoot through the cracked windows and threaten their undead skin. The rest of the crew exhale with relief as they begin to explore their new home. Worn wheelchairs, eroded cots, and other remnants of the old asylum are scattered everywhere. The place reeks of mould and mildew, but the monsters pay no mind. This forsaken place, with all its rotten ruin, is their new crematorium. Otto lays Agatha down on a creaky gurney and fixates on her face for any sign of movement. The group gathers round her with concern. They watch eagerly as Agatha stirs, her eyes flutter, and her gaze finally lands on Ghouliana, whose wicked smile comforts her. "You did it, my dear," Agatha whispers, her voice weak but laced with pride. "Thank you." Ghouliana dips her head in quiet acknowledgement. Her eyes reflect the unspoken bond between them. After all, it was Agatha who'd guided and mentored her. She's the one who pushed her to lead when the monsters were trapped in the flood. Without Agatha's unwavering belief, they may never have escaped their watery prison. Agatha, still groggy from her coma, really seems shaken from her injury and everything that's happened. She extends a quivering hand toward Ghouliana, who comes to sit down beside her. Agatha whispers with a vulnerable tone, "You'll have to get used to this, little one. I won't always be around to protect our friends." Ghouliana's face fills with doubt. The thought of this responsibility feels overwhelming. What if she doesn't have what it takes? Sensing her hesitation, Agatha offers a soft smile. "Think of this place as your crematorium, Ghouliana's sanctuary for monsters. Don't worry, I'll teach you." Before Ghouliana can respond, a threatening voice within the asylum booms, "Get out!" The words hang in the air like a curse. For a second, Agatha and Ghouliana both freeze, but then, unexpectedly, they burst into laughter. Still chuckling, Agatha jokes, "Dealing with that guy will be our first lesson." The fleeting moment of levity breaks the tension, and in that instant, everything feels possible. Something shifts inside Ghouliana, a small but vital spark. Maybe she's not quite ready, but she knows now that she has the strength to become what Agatha believes in, what her new friends need her to be. And for the first time in a long while, Ghouliana doesn't feel so alone in the world. The end. So there we have it. That is the tale of Ghouliana's Sanctuary for Monsters. I hope you've enjoyed listening. My throat is a little bit croggy now and I definitely need a drink. But yeah, I love the story. It's really, really enjoyable. It's obviously got those creepy descriptions in there, but there's still a little bit of pathos in there as well. You know, it makes it into an interesting kind of, strangely to say, slightly heartwarming story. But Alan's writing is absolutely fantastic. I believe he's written graphic novels before, not, you know, connected to the beauty of horror, but his writing is fantastic. Loads of brilliant adjectives, superlatives that really bring the world to life. You know, it's really world building and quite difficult to get my tongue around sometimes, some of these collections of words, but I did my best. So yes, now we have a giveaway, don't we? Before that though, I should quickly mention there are a couple of pages at the back. These are normally within the Beauty of Horror books. Create your own monster, colour the cover image, and then use your different materials on the paper itself so you can test how they respond. And then we've got the Beauty of Horror Universe advertising page, which is getting pretty full now. I think the guys at IDW need to sort of rejig this page a bit. But hopefully we've got loads more to come from this universe because it's absolutely fantastic. Right, giveaway. I have got a second copy of Beauty of Horror. So obviously this one's mine to keep and colour and enjoy. And this one could be yours. So if you want to join the contest to win a copy of Beauty of Horror, all you have to do is leave me a comment below. Make sure that you're subscribed though. And in your comment, you write the word win. So subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, include the word win. That's it, you're in. And it's a worldwide giveaway. I will send it absolutely anywhere. I will choose someone at random out of the comments in about a week's time, and I will send that off to you, and hope you enjoy it and have fun colouring this new storybook. So obviously I'll leave links in the description for you to go and buy the book, which I think you should. I think it's fantastic. And if you're into the Beauty of Horror, I cannot see any reason why you wouldn't love this book. One last thing I want to show you is that Alan has very kindly sent me a statuette of Ghouliana herself and Poppet. Now this is just in a prototype kind of box. It's obviously not been graphically designed and stuff yet, because I don't know if it's even out to buy. If it is, I'll leave that link in the description. But what I was thinking was, why don't I try and paint this box? Because it's just such a blank canvas. Why don't I try and attempt to paint this box, or do something, just draw on it something, I don't know, just to try and customise my very own Ghouliana box. Now, if you've been watching the channel the last couple of videos, you've heard me mention that I now have a sister channel called Craft with Claire, and that is where I'm hoping to do all of my crafty things that aren't colouring. So don't worry, I'm still going to be doing lots of colouring. All the book reviews and things that you've come to know on my channel over the last 10 years will still be happening, but I just want to expand a little bit and try some crafts and try and fail different crafts for your entertainment. So if you think that I should customize this box on my sister channel, let me know in the comments and give me some ideas. Let's figure it out together. But I just want to get this statue out before you go, because I haven't actually opened it yet, so I don't know what the quality's like, and I haven't held Ghouliana in my hands, so that needs to be rectified. Let's open the box. Like I said, it's just a prototype at this stage. Okay, so here she is. We've got Poppet there first. I'm just going to snip off the little safety bands that's holding him nice and tightly in there. Then hopefully we can pull him out. Oh, there's another one, is there? No. There we go. There's Poppet. How cute. He sits down nice and flat. He's got his spiked collar. He's got his sharp teeth and obviously his skeletal bones. And he's really, really well made, actually. I don't know if this is glow in the dark, you know. Yes, it is. This is glow in the dark. I've literally just put it up, but you can't see that. But it is glow in the dark. And I believe Ghouliana is too. Her skin, her face. So let's see. Where is she trapped in here? Let's see if I can cut it without cutting her dress. Come on then, Ghouliana. Here we go. So there is obviously a stand in here. And she has holes in her feet, so you can decide which way you want her to stand. But wow, this actually feels heavier than I thought it was going to be. It's definitely got some weight and some substance to it. Some substance? My voice is completely wrecked now, and my brain after reading that story. But yeah, you can see that she's holding her arms out in her pose. You can turn her hands as well. She's got articulated limbs, is that what they say? You can move her elbow. That's got a joint, and her shoulder. And can you move her head? Can we do a Reagan 360? No, because her hair is stopping that. Maybe you could remove her head, I'm not sure. I can feel a seam here as well, a joint, so she also bends a little bit. And then we've got her legs, which have a bendable knee joint and the foot joint as well. So you can pose her in whatever position you like. She's got her little wings. And yeah, it's fantastic to have something tangible of Ghouliana. It's really, really cool. So we could just stick her on that stand. Let's just stand you up and try and get you stable. I'm also trying to get it so that you can see it, but it's a bit difficult. Are you going to play nice, Ghouliana? There we go. She's going to go. Go on then. She's literally moving at a snail's pace to fall over. Here we go. There we go. So yeah, do you think I should customise the box? Do you think I'll ruin it? I mean, there's not much bad that I can do to a cardboard box, is there? But I suppose it would ruin the box that she's in if I, you know, left it to be a collector's item in the future. But I've already unboxed it now. I think I've devalued it quite a bit just by unboxing it. But I wanted to show you guys. So there we go. If this is available, I'll put the link in the description and you can buy your own Ghouliana to haunt your desk. Right, I think that's about everything for today. Thank you for sticking with me. I hope that you enjoyed my retelling or telling of the story from this fantastic book, Ghouliana's Sanctuary for Monsters. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon on Colour with Claire.